Now at 5, Crawford County Commissioners face a major decision on Mulberry's annexation plans for a massive solar project. Plus, the Newton County Sheriff's Department offers essential tips to protect Halloween trick-or-treaters. And
Hurricane Melissa is coming across Jamaica as the strongest storm this country has ever seen. I'm Jason Allen. I'll show you the impact of the wind and the waves as this storm is just beginning to make its way across the island.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
a land annexation where a solar farm will go awaits Crawford County approval, but first the public will get a chance to weigh in on the idea. This is KOAM News. I'm Dow Quick. Crawford County Commissioners must vote on whether to approve the annexation of more than 1,600 acres of land into the city of Mulberry. The City Council recently voted in favor of the annexation, which would pave the way for a $500 million solar project. The land lies outside of Mulberry, necessitating the county to review the resolution. The county has met, but before a decision is reached, they plan to hold a public hearing on November 13th.
Commissioners have to look at not only the area that's involved, but also any potential city conflicts that may occur, or whether or not that would hinder the growth of those cities and or that area.
The annexation resolution submitted back on October 20th opened up a 30-day window, prompting the commissioners to make a decision by November 19th. Shovels hit the ground today as city leaders and community members celebrated the start of a new chapter for one of Joplin's historic parks. Ewart Park, a cornerstone of the Easttown neighborhood, is getting a nearly $10 million makeover. The renovation will bring big changes, including a new splash park, playground, and an ice skating rink in the winter months.
Ewart Park is a pillar of the black community here in Joplin. It goes back to the era of segregation, where there was not a park that was set aside for the African American community at that time. So historically, it had always held that tradition of being the park in the community, a community park that was open to everyone. It's going to be so inviting, not just for the Joplin community, but the entire community as a whole.
The project is funded through the city's parks and stormwater sales tax and is expected to be finished in mid to late 2026. As Halloween approaches, the Newton County, Missouri Sheriff's Department is sharing some safety tips. The department says if you go door to door to trick or treat, it's best to go as a group. Other tips: wear reflective clothing, watch out for cars, and go to homes that you know well. The department also reminds drivers to be extra cautious.
We'll have our regular patrols out, want to check on folks, and again, we want to remind motorists, especially if they're driving in a neighborhood, to be extra cautious of kids that'll be out trick-or-treating. And so make sure you're driving slow, make sure you're watching between cars.
If you're looking for an alternative to traditional trick-or-treating, you can scan this QR code to take you to our events page. Right now, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Yeah, it's definitely turned out to be a dreary day for us today. Temperatures all day long have been holding into the 50s, and we've had on and off showers across the region. More concentration of them are going to be on the Missouri and the Arkansas side as we go through the evening hours, but you can see the bands of showers continuing through the night into the morning hours on Wednesday. So 40s, very windy and wet across the region. Also wet down across Jamaica. We had Category 5, actually the top 5 strongest hurricanes of all time, track right across Jamaica. This is now back overseas, so we'll strengthen up just a bit as we go through the next few hours and it heads toward Cuba, but made landfall with wind gusts of 225 miles per hour. We'll have the latest about our rain here in a bit.
All right, we'll see you soon. As Hurricane Melissa made landfall today in southwestern Jamaica, it was near the town of New Hope. This is a live image now from Kingston Harbor. That powerful Category 5 storm is the strongest to ever hit the Caribbean island. The World Meteorological Organization is calling it Jamaica's storm of the century. Jason Allen is writing it out in the capital of Kingston.
Hurricane Melissa slammed into Jamaica with winds up to 185 miles per hour and heavy rains.
Today will be very difficult for tens of thousands, if not millions of people in Jamaica. Roofs will be tested, floodwater will rise, isolation will become a harsh reality for many.
The National Hurricane Center issued a dire warning. Within the eyewall, total structural failure is likely. This video U.S. Air Force hurricane hunters took inside the storm shows a massive wall of clouds.
Jamaica, this is not the time to be brave. Don't bet against Melissa.
For days, government officials pleaded with people to find safe shelter outside of the strength of these winds. There are aid teams that are on the ground here to assess the damage once the storm clears, and agencies that are ready to fly in supplies. Jamaicans living in the U.S. are watching the storm closely. Minneapolis restaurant owner Tommy Beavis says he's been in constant communication with family and friends back home.
They've been doing a good job stocking up on food, and we're just hoping that they have enough, and then the aftermath of the hurricane, with the flooding, with the devastation, we're hoping that they will have the resources for the immediate recovery as well as the long-term rebuilding.
Melissa's next target, Cuba. Authorities there say they've already evacuated more than 500,000 people from low-lying areas. Jason Allen, CBS News, Kingston, Jamaica.
So far, already 3 deaths in Haiti and 1 in the Dominican Republic are blamed on Melissa. In Jamaica, a few people died preparing for the storm, while some falling off roofs while boarding them up. Still ahead, a troubling economic trend.
Foreclosures are on the rise. I'm Cristian Benavides in Florida, the state with the highest foreclosure rates in the country.
But first in Health Watch, how AI technology is helping doctors detect breast cancer. Topping today's Health Watch, new technology is helping detect cancers earlier. Radiologists say artificial intelligence, or AI, is a useful tool to find cancers that might not be picked up otherwise. During this Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Amy Johnson talks to a survivor who credits AI for her early diagnosis.
Teresa Antista McEwen received the terrifying news a year ago.
It is a really scary, eye-opening.
Fortunately for this wife and mother of 2, her cancer was found early.
I had my regular mammogram. They thought they saw something. They also ran it through AI. And before I even left the parking lot, I got a phone call asking to come back and schedule a biopsy.
That quick biopsy was positive for cancer.
From detection to when I had a lumpectomy to when I was in radiation wasn't even 6 months.
AI is not only fast, but one of the newest weapons in the fight against breast cancer.
The diagnosis or the highlighting of suspicious lesions happens almost instantly before it even gets to our desk to interpret it as a radiologist.
Dr. Jason McKillop is part of McEwen's medical team using what they call EBCD, which stands for Enhanced Breast Cancer Detection.
Essentially, a patient comes into our facility, gets a mammogram as she normally would, and has a radiologist interpret that mammogram as they normally would, but with the additional step of additional scrutiny made by artificial intelligence.
He showed us how it works.
It's essentially invisible or obscured by the breast density within this case, and the artificial intelligence, on the other hand, points it out, and now we scrutinize it.
But they don't just rely on AI.
If there's any discrepancy between the artificial intelligence interpretation and the radiologist interpretation, that goes to yet a third level of scrutiny, where a second radiologist tries to reconcile that discrepancy.
McKillop says with the technology, they're diagnosing cancers at a 20% higher rate than they previously did, catching the disease earlier and at a smaller stage.
I think that if we had not detected this breast cancer at an early phase, I think I would be telling you a very different story today.
McEwen is grateful AI was part of her screening. She's doing well and is cancer-free. Amy Johnson, CBS News.
Now, are you feeling extra stressed lately? If so, you're not alone. A poll from the American Psychiatric Association finds 2/3 of adults surveyed are feeling anxious about the state of the world. 62% are worried about their safety, the safety of their families. CBS News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. John LaPook says he's seeing more anxiety cases among his patients, and he tells them while there is a lot going on in the world, it's important for people to have grace for themselves.
And it's okay to create a little silo for you and your family and have some fun and peace in your family. I think that's something that almost people are relieved when I say, like, oh my gosh, I can have permission to do that.
The top issues the poll shows Americans are most anxious about: bills, health, and emerging technology. Last year's COVID vaccine was effective at preventing the virus, but its effectiveness waned over time. A study published in JAMA looked at the 2024-2025 version of the vaccine. It found that about 4 weeks after taking the shot, the vaccine was 44% effective. But about 5 months after getting the vaccine, its effectiveness dropped to 16%. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, thousands more homes head to foreclosure across our country.
And the rain showers continue as we go through the evening hours. We're going to look at that. Well, it's definitely turned out to be a gloomy Tuesday for us today. Showers across the region, really kind of picking up over the past several hours. Pretty widespread. On the low end, about 1/10 of an inch of rain has fallen. On the higher end, 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch. Parts of Jasper, Newton, over into Lawrence County and southwestern parts of Missouri. Look at the rain kind of pushing through. If you haven't been outside lately, the winds have really picked up due to that strong cold front that is shoving through. More persistent rainfall, Missouri into northwestern Arkansas, a little choppier, but still out there. Southeastern Kansas, northeastern parts of Oklahoma. All right, so here's where the heavier rains are. You can see kind of the yellows and oranges really popping up. Greenfield, Mount Vernon, Monette, down toward Cassville. Still, we got some moderate rain from Oronogo over toward Carthage, Joplin, Neosho, and then kind of spotty once you get through Kansas into Oklahoma. Let me take you through time as we go through the night. Persistent showers continue, especially Missouri into Arkansas, Kansas, Oklahoma. You will still get some scattered showers, just not quite as persistent as Missouri and Arkansas folks will get. By morning, still light showers. Notice the temperatures, lower 40s, so very cold rain outside. Showers continue through the morning, especially Missouri and Arkansas, and then showers will dissipate, but the clouds, they stick around most of the day. A little bit of sun late in the day, but I think our high temps only around 51, maybe 52, which is well below our average high for this time of the year. We start to clear out tomorrow night. Look at this. We drop back upper 30s, so a cold start on Thursday, but Thursday afternoon, not bad. We go into the upper 50s to near 60 degrees. Additional rain mainly on the Missouri side, but still a lot of areas can pick up another quarter, another 1/2 inch with those showers kind of pushing through. 44 to start, 47 by noon. High temp at 51 degrees. And look at these winds kicking in. At times tonight, we'll have winds gusting 30 to 40, maybe 43 miles per hour. So very windy tonight, very windy tomorrow morning. And then once we get to the afternoon, the wind will slowly start to taper off across the region. All right, so let's check out Hurricane Melissa. Look at this intense eye wall that rolled right across Jamaica, made landfall about mid-morning, had winds gusting over 200 miles per hour. Of course, you got to be out on open waters for these things to really gain strength. So that's why it weakens to a Category 4. Most likely will pick up a little more steam as it heads toward Cuba later on tonight. All right, so Category 4 sustained winds 145, but look at this, moves right across Cuba and then out to sea as we go through the next few days. For us, here's this system moving in or moving through right now. We stay kind of in this northwest flow as we go through the next several days. So the end result meaning for you is it stays kind of chilly as we go through the rest of the week. 51 tomorrow, 58 Thursday. Halloween, not bad, 61. As we go into the weekend, upper 50s, a little bit cooler, and then 60s and 70s returning for us next week.
So for those trick-or-treaters, it might be a bit chilly, but at least likely not wet.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
All right, thanks, Doug. Coming up, foreclosure filings jump. Topping today's Consumer Watch, foreclosure rates continue to rise, up 20% in September from last year. Industry experts say while the numbers aren't historically alarming, they might signal broader trouble. Reporter Christian Benavides reports from Florida, which has the highest foreclosure rates in the country.
This house is one of realtor Emily Odak's half-dozen foreclosure listings in South Florida, and more are in the pipeline.
We have properties that are behind the scenes that are about to become foreclosures, that are pre-foreclosures, that we are currently watching or may be in default.
Adam, a provider of nationwide property data, reported more than 35,000 foreclosure filings around the country in September.
When people aren't paying their mortgage per se, that indicates something broader in the market for us.
Foreclosure rates are up 20% compared to a year ago, and nowhere more so than Florida. Nevada also made the top 3. Both states were popular relocation areas during the pandemic.
What we don't know is if the folks that maybe were moving there for remote work during the COVID era are starting to see distress or not. But typically, it's older homes that are just going through traditional foreclosure processes.
The high cost of home insurance and rising HOA fees for condos are driving up prices for Florida homeowners, increasing the risk of foreclosures here.
Especially because of the Surfside tragedy. The city comes in, they check out the whole building for the past 30 years, what needed to be fixed, what needs to be fixed, and then they go and allocate special assessments to the homeowners. Maybe a $1,500 extra a month.
Despite drawing some comparisons to the 2008 housing crash fueled by high-risk mortgages, real estate experts don't expect a repeat. Odak says it is still the right time to buy for somebody. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Coral Springs, Florida.
Employment rates also affect foreclosures, and there's less of a safety net now that pandemic-era foreclosure moratoriums and forbearance programs for struggling homeowners have ended. One of the nation's largest private employers is making major cuts to its workforce. Amazon announced it's cutting 14,000 corporate jobs on its ongoing effort to slash costs. Tech giant says the cuts are just the latest in a long line of efforts to make Amazon more efficient and focused.
This is coming at the corporate level, and so this isn't Amazon isn't doing well or consumers aren't spending. This is them saying, we've got a lot of areas in the corporate level that we think we can be more efficient on, and we're going to take some of those resources away, and then we're going to add some resources in an area that we think is going to be growth worthy, which is AI.
Amazon has more than 350,000 corporate employees, so the move impacts about 4% of its staff. The company says it expects to continue hiring in other areas and will offer most employees 90 days to look for a new role internally. If you're in the market for a new car, you should know 9 new models made the 2025 top safety picks from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. 6 earned the Top Safety Pick Plus award. The Audi all-new A5, Audi Q6, Sportback e-tron, BMW X3, Ford Explorer, the Hyundai Ioniq Q9, and the Kia Sportage. This top ranking requires a good rating in crashworthiness and good or acceptable in headlight and pedestrian emergency braking tests. A final check of the forecast is next on the CBS Evening News. Hurricane Melissa is now battering Jamaica as the strongest Atlantic storm to ever make landfall on that island in recorded history. We're going to take you there. Then on KOAM News at 6, more on how local families are preparing safety plans for Halloween trick-or-treating. Plus, see how Joplin's 14-acre Ewart Park will get a major upgrade with those new amenities. And in sports, a recap of the Chiefs' win last night over the Commanders. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Pretty wet out there, Doug.
Yeah, it really is, and we're going to continue to see the scattered light to moderate showers sticking around this evening, tonight, and really through the first half of the day on your Wednesday. Look at these temperatures, a high of only 51 tomorrow, 58 Thursday, back into the 60s by the time Halloween decides to roll around.
Thanks, Doug, and thank you for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.